Hi, I'm Mark, and welcome to the weekly Outside Views report on German politics. And today I need to talk about the never ending arguments in the so called traffic light coalition in the federal government in Germany. The FDP, the Liberals, sharpened their position at a 3-day federal party conference and distanced themselves from the Green coalition partner on key points. The delegates insisted on the course of the Liberals in transport policy and called for major changes to the Building Energy Act in a leading motion. A warning is given against dogmatic predeterminations of individual technologies. The motion aims to change a traffic light compromise, though. In essence, this means that from January 1st in 2024, every newly installed heating system must be operated with 65% renewable energies and therefore, apart from exceptions and transitional periods, no more pure gas or oil heating systems may be newly installed in Germany. Only a few days after the plans were passed in the cabinet, the FDP reported that there was a need for further corrections when it came to replacing the heating system. As mentioned, the FDP Party Congress passed a motion entitled Building Energy Act, Smarter Climate Protection Instead of Attacking Property. The federal government passed the reform of the so-called Building Energy Act on Wednesday, even though Finance Minister Christian Lindner from the FDP put his concerns on the record. According to this, the core principle remains that from January 1st, 2024, every newly installed heating system must operate with 65% renewable energies, and that still pure gas or oil heating systems should therefore no longer be newly installed. However, there should be exceptions, transition periods, and comprehensive funding. The original draft by Economics Minister Robert Habeck from the Greens for the reform of the building energy law is an example of the wrong climate and energy policy of the Greens, according to an FDP party conference resolution on this subject. Dogmatic predeterminations of individual technologies, mania for planned economy regulation down to the last detail, and ignorant overload of those affected, it said. And in another resolution, the delegates emphasized the Building Energy Act needs major changes in order to be brought into line with the goals and values of the Free Democrats. The state should enable people in Germany to lead a self-determined life, but the Building Energy Act goes deep into the freedom of people's decision. The FDP has serious and fundamental reservations, but the party congress did not give its own MPs in the Bundestag any detailed specifications for the upcoming negotiations with the coalition partners. Green Party leader Katharina Dröge reminded the FDP of previous decisions and agreements. Leading a party or parliamentary group responsibly in times of government means standing by what you have agreed to. That's what she told the German press agency in Berlin on Sunday. We assume that the agreements and commitments that the FDP makes to the Chancellor and in the coalition are reliable, she said. And she recalled the farewell in the cabinet on Wednesday and the agreement in the coalition committee. At the end of March, the Social Democrats, the Greens and the FDP agreed to bring the plans to the cabinet in April and to approve them before the summer break in the parliament. More specific demands for improvements came from the Social Democrats, though. Federal Minister of Health Karl Lauterbach from the Social Democrats called for generous exemptions for hospitals, care and rehabilitation facilities in German media when it comes to heating renewal. We will not allow rising energy and heating costs to endanger the existence of hospitals, he said. Specifically, it should be possible for the facilities to apply for the installation of a new gas heating system under certain circumstances still in the future. And Social Democrat parliamentary group leader Matthias Miersch expressed skepticism about the restrictions on the use of wood and pellet heating systems, also planned by Habeck and Building Minister Clara Geiwitz from the Social Democrats. Homeowners would have to have different options for heating available in the future, including biomass. That's at least what Miersch told German media. The main thing is at least 65% renewable, he says. And Miersch emphasized that the switch to climate-friendly heating technologies must be affordable for everyone. According to the cabinet decision, heating with biomass such as wood should only remain an option in existing buildings where other solutions are not feasible or sensible, for example because of monument protection. But Saxony's Prime Minister Michael Kretschmer from the Christian Democrats heavily criticized the latest climate policy plans of the Traffic Light Coalition. The plans of this government are leading to deindustrialization and riots among the population, said the conservative politician to German media. Many citizens will simply not be able to afford the required conversion of their house or apartment. The federal government is planning a subsidy rate of 30% for the replacement of the heating system. If supplements are added in the form of so-called climate bonuses, up to 50% subsidies would be possible. Christian Democrat leader Friedrich Merz warned of incalculable consequences for the federal budget there. There will be billions that private households will now have to make available to finance this decision with a crowbar, he said in an interview on German media. Finance Minister Lindner should therefore have vetoed it in the cabinet, he says. For his part, Economics Minister Habeck accused the previous government under ex-Chancellor Angela Merkel of a lack of commitment to the fight against global warming. In the abstract, we thought climate protection was good and you could get away with that in the Merkel era, but it never really became concrete, and now it's becoming concrete, said Habeck at an event of a newspaper in Berlin. We now have to take care of the concrete, and that's why it's so crunchy. His words, not mine. At the same time, he warned against understanding climate protection as a milieu issue. We can argue about what the best concepts are, but we shouldn't argue about the fact that we are all responsible for presenting concepts, and I think that's just beginning, he says. Well, but in one point he's right, there are different ways to do this, but what we see at the moment, even in my hometown, is an extreme ideological way trying to do this, and that is nothing that will work in the end, and ideology has never been good for anyone. And I'll see you in the next video. I'll be back.